Hello, welcome back to the SCW Wrestling Podcast. Once again, I'm joined by another fantastic guest. This man, one of the most iconic men in Southwest Wrestling, probably with one of the greatest stories ever. I'm joined by none other than a man known as John the Revelator, aka John Aubrey. Thank you for joining me this evening. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. I wouldn't go as far as to say I'm iconic. You know, I've only been doing this business 3 years, but we'll say I'm a good man. We'll go that far.
Yeah, maybe not iconic, but what we'd say
maybe not iconic. I'm not Hulk Hogan or anything like that. So
no, definitely not. Maybe one of probably with one of the most famous storylines in Southwest Wrestling history. I think.
Yeah, we'll go with that one.
Okay, no problem. We're going to go into this then. So this sort of live special, we're really going to go into the history of sort of the group that was synonymously known as Dead Man's Hand. We're really going to go into sort of how it came about, the history of it, my personal feelings on it, sort of how Joe and John felt basically during the whole way. This the lengths of secrecy he had to go to keep it all a secret in terms of who he really was, the leader, and stuff like that. It's just going to be a real fascinating interview. A lot of people have called for this. A lot of people have asked for this. So we're going to go into it. I'm going to start at the beginning. So I first heard of Dead Man's Hand. I saw a page. I know quite a few people in the wrestling business. I know Jason Kidd, a few others. And I saw that he liked the page. And I saw like this real ominous video where you did basically a cryptic promo. And I was like, what the hell? I wouldn't want to meet these guys. I was thinking, oh my God, if this is someone real, using Anonymous or something, we could be in trouble. I was a bit like, what the hell? There's some weird people out there. But what was your what came about and how did you sort of come up with this way to sort of initially come up with Dead Man's Hand, so to speak?
Well, it's like I've always enjoyed the factions. I've always enjoyed stables and groups. You know, there's something about if you get a good stable together, you get a good idea of where you want to go and what you want to do. You know, it's limitless what you can do with a faction, and the fans like factions. So inspirations like, you know, you've had factions like you know, Four Horsemen, you know, D-Generation X, NWO, etc., etc. Kind of like NWO would be a big inspiration for me with factions. The way Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came in, and it looked like they were taking over, and it looked like they were coming in. It was at first people thought shots were fired from WWE. These guys still with, you know, there was all this mystery about it. Even though you knew who they were, there was still this mystery about it, and they just kept growing and growing and growing, and that was my main inspiration for Dead Man's Hand. I've always wanted, if I did ever get into wrestling, I'd love to manage a faction, not wrestle in a faction or anything. I'm not an athlete. I'm going to say that now. I'm not an athlete. I'm not a wrestler. You know, I'm a manager. I enjoy the business side of stuff, and I said if I ever got into this, that's what I'd want to do. So yeah, main inspiration, like I say, NWO. A little bit of Aces and Eights as well for those who used to watch TNA. I feel that was wasted. You know, Aces and Eights, it could have been a hell of a lot better. I thought they were going to be the new big faction on the scene, but it was done poorly. It was good to start with, but it just started falling apart. And yeah, so some good inspirations there, good factions.
That's good to hear. I was going to say, originally, so the first sort of thing that we sort of heard about was probably around May 2016 when the initial post started from Facebook. I felt the way that you used social media when you first began was a really clever way. Not a lot of people have done that at this point, particularly in Southwest. I felt that was certainly a different way to approach it. You got a lot of people's attention early on. Clearly, you started with these ominous voice messages and stuff like that, which is really, really good. You immediately have got people guessing what the hell is this about. And then when you keep on with these like weird images you're posting and stuff like that, and you then go into sort of the way you used to do posts in terms of crypticness, it was all pretty weird. And generally people are asking like sort of who's behind this, what the hell's going on. You then build it up to sort of you're at shows and you're then taking over the PA. So who came up with the idea to take over the PA? I thought it was a really original one. I thought it was really clever as well. Further enhanced the mystique of the whole thing.
Yeah, that was me as well. With the PA taking over the PA thing. As you know, as everyone sees the masks, you relate them to Anonymous. They're not your conventional white Anonymous mask. They're your more dark, morbid type of Anonymous mask. And we used to think, so in my mind, what would Anonymous do? And you see YouTube videos and stuff. I scoured YouTube, and I came across a YouTube channel, Lieutenant Lick Me, his name is. He stands up for people in a big way. So someone will contact Lieutenant Lick Me. He'll read the thing, and what he'll do is he'll get all their information. This person, say a friend of someone they know, who's bullying someone, they'll get the name and everything. So he knows everything, and he acts as though he hacks into their accounts, and they can't get rid of him. Obviously,
Wow.
little do they know, a friend set him up. But and he used to use all these different voices. You'd have he used to have a guy called the Stalker, really gruff, low voice, kind of like the one I put on. You had a sort of like a Saw style voice. There was so many different things he could do, and it freaked those other people out to the point where, there were times stories have come around where they said they've never done that again. They've never bullied again because of this guy. So, and he always used to talk in riddles. So it was that's where I actually got my. It wasn't even wrestling related. That's where I got my inspiration from there. I wanted to kind of freak people out. I needed to keep my voice hidden, as well as myself. So hence the creepy images put together.
It's clever.
With my voice over the top. Lieutenant Lick Me. Check him out on
Wow.
YouTube.
Okay, great to hear that. Thank you for that. I was going to say it was really, really cleverly well done. I'd say that when you look at some of the messages, we'll just go into one now. I'll read one now. So you've got one here from June 2016. We hide in the shadows, wait to make our presence known. The world you've created for yourself needs disruption. It needs chaos. It needs evil, and that's what we feed off. For those that know who we are, and soon will know, expect the unexpected, expect us. I like the way. What I really like about this is the fact that for months and months you are building this with images and sort of these threatening, ominous messages. And you're sort of building up to a crescendo, and ultimately you're then sort of stuff's going, and then ultimately it's just getting weirder and weirder and weirder. And eventually, by the time you did debut in September, there was a big whole sort of dance about you're coming, and nobody knows what it is. I didn't know what Demon Town was really. Also, you see this big thing that you're coming, and there's interest. People are generally interested to see what the hell is this about. The fact you built this up with such a mystique, we've heard the voices, we're thinking, what the hell is that? We don't recognise who this is. It could be anybody. And then when you did eventually debut, obviously you made an impact straight away. When you see the sheer numbers of you, you're thinking, what the hell? I've never seen anything like it. This is weird. Really, really weird. What was it? What were your memories of sort of when you first debuted? Sort of your first sort of debut as a faction, so to speak?
I'm picturing it all now, and it's like, when, like you said, started up the page in April, and it wasn't until September that people saw us, saw the group. So yeah, like you say, people didn't know what to expect. No one knew where we were going to show up either until a week or two before our debut, and we finally said, LEP, expect the unexpected. No one had a clue. I had a couple of people message me, message in the group, saying, what are you? Are you a band? Are you this? And it's like, well, no, we're not, so we had to try and keep that kind of secret as well. So it was kind of like, we'd message back sometimes just saying, you don't need to know all this kind of thing. Really start freaking people out, sending them cryptic messages back and all that. So there was a lot of things I had to do in between April and September. So yeah, then I remember us all of us, because when we came in, there were, I think, only 5 of us at that point. Just trying to think. Yeah, I can see 4 in the ring and me on the outside. So yeah, 5 of us, and we're stood out in the corridor, and we can hear young JP having an interview in the ring by John Hardin. He was asked him a couple of questions. It was when we heard the whistle. Now, not many of you might not know about the whistle. The ones who saw us from the start, we used to have this really. I'm trying to think. I can't think what it was called, but Kill Bill the movie. The nurse walking down the corridor. That whistle. That is where I took it from, slowed it down, and added it to our theme song. So we heard that hit. We heard the music hit. Each of us were like, right, here we go. Let's do this. So I said to the guys just before we went out, I said, only 2 go in first. Only 2. People will think it's a tag team. So I send 2 people in. They go in, the door's shut behind them. You hear a few boos. Then you hear a few more boos, and we're like, right, here we go. So then the other 2 members open the door. In the rest of us walk. It fell silent. It just went completely dead. We were at Stonehouse Creek Leisure Centre, so there were a good 80 to 100 people in there, maybe even 120. I can't remember how much it actually holds, but there were so many people in there for that show, and yeah, for that room to fall silent. I've refereed a few times there for when PWA were there, and that crowd was always loud. You couldn't stop them. They just fell silent, like I said, and that feeling.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people say, is that good? Is that bad? No, for me, with the style of faction we were, that was good. That was the exact reaction I wanted. Was just pure, what the hell?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. It's awesome to hear that. Well, let's talk about what I remember. Let's talk about the theme music. Where was the inspiration for the music, and what made you choose that legendary tune as your intro?
Johnny Cash. Yeah, God's gonna cut you down. So, I originally just obviously we just needed a theme song. And I was like, I need something dark. I need something slow. I'm a big fan of country music. Not a lot of people know that, but I like the new wave of country as well. So you've got a category called dark country. So on YouTube, I just typed in dark country, came up with a couple of albums. So I had to listen and listen through. I was like, no, I've still got some on my iPod where I'm like, that would work. That would work. There are quite a few songs, dark country songs, that would have worked, but this one just stood out to me. It was just a lone, like a drum, just simple beat, simple spaced out beat, and then you had a bit of a strum with the guitar, and then Johnny Cash. I mean, what can you say? He's got that kind of voice anyway. So it was a very dreary kind of, if anything was to ever happen, if ever we were to gain any followers, people clap to it, clap to the beat, kind of a really slow. We could walk in slow. The pace was nice. Like I say, it was really, really dark. So straight away I went, it's got to be Johnny Cash. It had to be Johnny Cash.
That's cool, man. This takes me on nicely. So obviously around the beginning of September, there was a massive one of the messages you posted was like a poster, and it had you with a mask. Ultimately, that got me really excited. I think this was the very first LEP show I ever went to, and I saw the build up. I was generally excited to see what you did next. It was a great mystery. And obviously you then debuted. You obviously came in. And what I thought was so original about your first debut in Torquay as such was the way you came out. You'd come out not strategically through the main entrance. You'd come in through the actual outside of the building. I think that was a really clever thing. I don't think sort of enough is made of the facilities around, if that makes sense. What made you come in from outside? I thought that was really clever. I think that's probably one of the great features of your faction. I thought it was above and beyond. I thought it was really clever.
Yeah, definitely.
Really clever.
I mean,
really.
You think about it. It's like you look at the type of fact we're coming in.
Yeah.
No one knows who we are.
Yeah.
If we came through that curtain, people would go, well, it's one of the guys out the back. It's got to be one of the guys out the back, just to make it more real. We're not part of the building. We're not in the building. We're not a part of this company. We want this company. We just walk in and take it. So that was the whole idea behind going through any entrance we could find, any way we could find, whether it was a side door, fire exit door, main doors. As long as we didn't go through that curtain, it was all good. And I don't know whether you can hear. There's my bloody neighbour. He's a horrible guy. He builds at flipping 6. Who builds at 6:15 at night? George, I'm telling you.
Only talking, Only talking. No, okay. No, that's fine. I was going to say, yeah, so one of the key things. So, obviously, at that show, you attacked the Mad Dog Vinny Clay, which promoted a feud, which was really, really good. I thought it was really good. From that point onwards, I was hooked, man. I really liked the whole way that it asked questions. Clearly, you came out, and you've got sort of people asking, basically, these guys are unstoppable. And this was about the time people were asking, really, where Jago was. And I felt that was a really good way to start that whole sort of issue that arose, so to speak, because you've obviously got sort of you guys coming out. You've attacked Vinny Clay. Everyone loves Vinny Clay, so everyone's sort of going, who the hell are these guys? Who do they think? And what I generally thought with this as well, sorry about this, I think we just had an interruption. Let me just get this off, and it's not them hands on. So what we generally had was sort of, I like the way you did it. What I loved about it was the fact that you'd come in from the outside, and generally you didn't know. I generally thought it could have been anybody in the Southwest. We didn't know. We thought it could have been somebody with an agenda against the promotion. You just generally didn't know. So from that point, I got really, really hooked, and I felt I kept asking people I knew. I said, "Who is it? Who is it?" You're gonna have to wait and see. You're gonna have to wait and see. And I started trying to figure out. I started overlooking and analysing everything and trying to get to the answer. I could get nowhere near, and you're still looking at it, thinking, "Well, who the hell is it? Who the hell is it?" And then what you basically did is obviously from then you then obviously started regularly coming to shows, and then we had the classic thing at Saltash where's the photo in the boiler room, and I felt that photo when I saw it the night after, it was ominous. You're generally thinking, what the hell's going on with this promotion? You're thinking, who the hell are these guys? These guys have to be stopped. And I felt what led to that inspiration of that photo as well. I thought that was a really good statement of you guys make it further create questions as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take credit for that photo at all because I had nothing to do with it. I was obviously in the photo.
Yeah.
Not bloody drill. Not my idea. I'm gonna award that to Glenn Chun, who everyone might know as from LEP
Yeah.
Dmitry Ivanov and from CPW Dmitry Ivanov. He saw the boiler room. He just walked past it and he just looked at me and he was like, "Have a look in there." And I had a look. And he was like, "You could get a great photo in here, and we might not be back here soon, so why not take the opportunity?" I gave him a high five, and there's the photo.
Oh, that's cool. It's cool to see it. It's really good. I like the way that then asks further questions. You then also ask him, where's Jago, which further carries on. We then get to sort of the show in December. At this point, I started working with sort of LEP, and I started, obviously, I liaised with you quite a bit. I was once again trying to find out what I knew. Once again, we had another shock. We obviously had the revealing of Blake Harrison, which was really, really good. I felt that was really well done. And the way, there's a funny story we're going to tell, which nobody probably knows this. We will say this now. I obviously started working a bit with LEP. We do the podcast, stuff like that. I was liaising mainly with yourself, which is kind of strange. Obviously, you're the enemy. And then there's a funny story. The show ends. I'm about to go backstage to congratulate them on a fantastic show. And I'm like, where's Joe? Where's Joe? Where's Joe? He's nowhere. He's busy. And I'm thinking, what the hell? I was probably about 5 or 10 seconds away from revealing it for myself, which I'm so glad it didn't pay off, thank God.
Yeah, you were close.
Yeah, bloody hell.
You were really close. Yes, skin of my teeth. Let's put it that way.
Like, I think it's just the fears. I was so into the whole thing and the whole way it was building. Then we then had there's all this teasing of who is it. What led to you then going from the whole sort of Puppet Master thing as such? What led to that Puppet Master to Master Shadows? What was the evolution of that? What led to that basically?
Well, I just happened to notice in promos, and little statuses on our Facebook page and stuff that I weren't referring to everyone as puppets. I wasn't referring. So I was thinking to myself, well, why would I call myself the Puppet Master if they're not my puppets? But I noticed I kept calling them shadows. They're within the shadows.
Yeah.
All this kind of shadows is a lot darker. It resembles darkness. You know what I mean? So yeah, in the end, it was just Master of Shadows, Master of the Darkness, Master of all that kind of thing. So that's what led to Master of Shadows. With the logo, we still had the strings coming down from the fingers to the hoods, just to show that he's still got everyone, wrapped around his fingers. He can still control, but it doesn't mean you can call him Puppet Master. So Master of Shadows, I thought, was a lot more darker, fitting for the character.
Yeah, so. I really like that. Thank you for answering. I was going to say, you were so strict in sort of the secrecy of it that I remember I did some work originally and I tried to message the Dead Man's Hand page, and I remember you actually replied Puppet Master, and I felt sort of stuff like that, just nice touches that further mean that no one. How many people would you say actually knew that it was you behind it? Like a handful, probably, if that.
Yeah, just a handful, just the guys and girls out the back. Let's put it that way. We had a few of them who wasn't regulars that we thought, well, yeah, but as in family and stuff. So you had like some of the boys out the back. It was like, don't tell anyone. Literally no one. If anyone in this room, anyone in the academy, those are the only people who know. They couldn't let slip to the juniors on their lesson when they were doing their lessons and stuff. No, you don't, not anyone, because the more people know, the quicker it will get out.
Yeah.
And it was bound to slip if we started telling everyone, telling all these, or people started finding out. And yeah. So there were loads of things we had to do to throw the scent to get people off the trail. They were starting to. People were actually starting who were coming to the LEP shows. I'm never going to claim that we were. We're not famous or anything like that. Far from it. This is solely for people who enjoyed what we did. So I don't want people to think of, I'm bragging about the faction, all that kind of stuff, because this is just for the people who enjoyed what we did. So yeah, we just had to keep it. We had to keep it stum. Everyone had to keep it stum.
I think it was really good. I like the way it was kept secret. I think one of my favourite early memories was the whole thing with Jago joining. I felt that was a great heel turn. I felt like
that was one of the best. That was one of the best moments
because you're building it up for months and months. Unfortunately, probably myself, I I thought to myself when I did an interview with Vinny Clay. I probably did say to him, "Well, where's Jago? Where's Jago?" And you're getting thrown off. Even though I was working with NEP, I got totally thrown off. I didn't have any idea that Jago was going to turn. I could have guessed. I could have made a punt based on a couple of factors. That where's Jago? Jago's surely going to be with them. He's bad. He's going to be bad. All this lot. But when it paid off and you see it, you just like generally, I felt a sense of wow, that's clever. That's really clever because ultimately you have to see the next chapter. And it made sense. I think it was probably one of the best acquisitions you made in Dead Man's Hand because ultimately it led to so much more. So much more could happen off it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, every member that was chosen to be in Dead Man's Hand, they all had something, but they were all different. So, it was like Jago definitely him. When you say best acquisition, you've got to think, Scott Johns was my best.
Yeah, Scott Johns was good as well.
Scott Johns was my best. He was there, kicking ass. You saw what he did to Carl Atlas, all of this kind of stuff. He was someone who resembled, who I wanted to be Dead Man's Hand, Everyone was a great acquisition. Everyone brought something different to the table, and the way we did things, you had, like I say, I mean, the Jago moment was by far for me the best moment, but we still had loads of great little moments, like you had when Blake won the title.
Yeah, that was really well done as well. Really, well done.
Yeah, it's like the same with Ruth Jackson as well. She won the women's title. Wasn't a part of Dead Man's Hand at that point when she won the women's title, but then in Payton, it was revealed that she was in Dead Man's Hand. We already had the women's title.
And what I really liked about it, credit to LEP and yourself, was the fact that the slow reveals. We weren't getting reveals all the time, so when they did happen, it was like, wow, somebody else has been revealed. Oh my god, somebody else has turned. And you're generally then buying into the whole mythology of it. I think probably one of my favourite things, obviously, definitely at the Super Show. Talk me through it. What I really liked about the Super Show is we're in this giant hall. You come in obviously the way you always do. You don't come in through the sort of main entrance. You come in and generally people look scared. You can tell people were terrified. And the whole thing with winning the whole post and stuff we've covered before, that must have been a buzz for you. That must have been such a buzz to see the reaction when Jago turned and your presence, the presence you felt basically.
Oh, definitely. It was, for LEP, it was a really good crowd. That's not me bashing LEP before anyone says anything. Windmill Centre, we sell out 60 to 70 people is sell out at Windmill Centre, and at Acorn Centre we had around 147, I reckon. So for not being funny, but for LEP Academy, not LEP promotion, LEP Academy coming out to see the new guys and all that kind of stuff with a few familiar faces, that was good. So to, for them to look like that, the way the crowd were, some people not knowing what was going on, there were still some new faces, all that kind of stuff, but there were a lot of people there still like, what the hell is this with the music? The fact that you had me with the gold mask, followed by, I'm trying to think how many were there that day. There might have been about 5 or 6.
Yeah, quite a few of you that came out, and the security just moved out the way, which made it further more intimidating. I think that further helped you guys. But that was great just to see that. And obviously, we then started having your sort of building of where you sort of did a really good. You did a really good job. Sorry, excuse me. You did a really good job of throwing people off the scent as such, like because obviously we then had the part of when you're then sort of ultimately trying to sort of threaten yourself in essence. You're talking in second character. You're basically saying there's one here where you're making a huge mistake with Strawberry, putting my brothers against each other. Maybe it's time for someone to step in the light. You got things like that where you're sort of hinting that trying to throw everyone off, which I thought was really clever. Were you sort of? Was there any chance you would have been revealed any sooner? Do you think potentially?
There were talks about me having being revealed a bit sooner. Things didn't work out that way though, because
it was good. It was good. It was delayed.
Say it now, right? I'm going to say it with the story because I'm not going to take credit for all of the story. I'll take credit for half of it, but I won't take credit for the whole thing because me and Danny Walsh, we worked on that together. So we did. I started the whole idea. I started the gimmick. I kept it going until September. Once it hit shows, we started working together on it, trying to plan what we could do with it. The thing is, we've got people don't realise it, or maybe we didn't realise it at first, but we've got both have got the same sort of mind for the wrestling business, the stories, everything like that, the writing, and it just seems like people. I don't know. People tend to see it differently, but yeah, like I said, we kind of we worked together on it. And yeah, it just became this whole thing. So it came to the point where we were like, should we do it? And it was like, we've got to wait until the end of the year. It's got to be. It was one of those where it was like the reveal had to happen at the end of the year.
Oh, cool, man. I was going to say,
instead of sending people home happy, we thought, do you know what? We'll send them home really, really pissed off.
I think what a really good thing that you played, another really good thing, was the time when you went for a table and then was the whole thing of it can't be you. I think that was a really nice swerve, because at that point people had started asking questions. I've got to be honest, like people, I was partly sort of, I did have no idea who it was, but people are asking questions. Surely it can't be you. It can't be you. The fact you've gone for a table really throws off the heat off you. And then people hadn't seen you for a while. That's the problem. I was like, you'd obviously gone. You disappeared for a while, so people had thought it's all gone. There's nobody actually pulling the string. The chaos isn't as bad as such. And obviously, you go through a table, and it puts all the heat on Dan then, which I felt clearly obviously told another good story. And I think that then really, really was a clever move. Ultimately, it extended the story. It extended the whole thing probably by quite a few months, if that makes sense at that point. Because obviously, you went through the table about September last year, and you're then sort of it can't be you. It rules you out totally. All the fans think it's not you. Not that they thought it was you anyway, but all the fans generally don't have any idea then at that point. You think, oh my god, Danny's in Dead Man's Hand. But then at that point, you then got further questions of who actually is them. We're still no closer at that point to find out who the leader is as such.
Yeah. We had to, if we were gonna, people like you say, people were starting to ask questions, and the main one was, why is Joe never out there when the guy in the gold mask is out there?
That's the bullet in the gun, isn't it? Unfortunately, that question there, and I think it's, to be fair, for many months, probably 90% of this whole thing, that a lot of people probably didn't realise that, because the thing is, you were such a baby face to the crowd. You got the crowd going. People noticed you, and you were really a fan favourite, if that makes sense. Which I think sort of people obviously would ask questions where you are, but then ultimately, even towards the end, I didn't get it was you. We did a podcast together for a year. I tried to probe. Yeah. I probed you to try and get the answer. Who is it? I got nowhere closer. I had a guess at 5 or 6 people at one point, and it just literally sort of towards the end. Obviously, you having to play both sides. It must have been quite satisfying though to ultimately get people off the scent as such.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like you said, I was doing this whole, on the fun time, announcer, John Joe, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. I'd have fun. I'd interact with the crowd. I'd crack jokes. I used to just going off the subject a tiny bit, but yeah, I used to. For those who didn't know, DJ, and I used to host my own little evenings down at Green Room and another couple of places over the years, and so I was always good playing the host, and that's what I tried to bring to the announcing side, because you've got loads of announcers out there. I know a couple who are, really fun, really get the crowd going, and then some who just literally, and your next match, and now is your next match, and all this kind of stuff. So no, you got to try and make it fun. That's what it's all about, get the crowd going. So that's what I wanted to do, and that helped me become that fun good guy, because people started to like me. People started to like to see me when I came out. The music had hit, and they'd be like, oh, he's going to come out in a minute. I used to come out, I used to run around the room, high-fiving everyone. And then you see me in Dead Man's Hand, and it is flipped, completely upside down. You've got to hit, to be that kind of character for me, I feel that you've got to go dark. You've got to do a few things. When I say do a few things, not like that, but there were times I'd just sit in my room with the lights off, and I'd just put the music in, and that's it. I'd just put this creepy flipping music, and I'd just picture everything that I'd do, everything that I'd say, but it'd be completely dark. There'd be no light in the room whatsoever. So it was kind of me. Sometimes it'd just be me and my thoughts. Sometimes it'd just be me with creepy music or something sinister. But it really gets you into that frame of mind, and that's what a lot of people, I'm going to say it, that's what a lot of people are lacking these days, is the fact that they just they think of a character, they come up with it, and then they'll go out there and do it. And it's like, you've got to prepare for this. That's what makes it better. And that's why, when people see me as, well, if people ever see me as John the Revelator again, then, you'll see a different kind of side to me where I'm not, you meet me in after shows and stuff, or when I'm at shows, I talk, I'm a fun guy, I'm a nice guy, but show day, I have to block all of that out, and that's how you've got to do it. You've really got to get into the character.
I think what was really, really good, another key thing that you did that I think you did, which really helped, I think the fact that you teased that you were going to be at a super show, ultimately you then didn't turn up, so you then create the whole thing. People were starting to ask, oh, that they're rid of Dead Man's Hand, they're rid of this puppet master, or Master Shadow, he's gone, LEP is saved, so to speak. You then come back and sort of reveal yourself in a questionable way. I really liked the reveal. I thought the reveal was really iconic. I don't think anybody saw it coming. And I think it was such a nice, not so nice in the culmination of your work. Clearly, obviously, it was 18 months where nobody had a clue who it was. And the fact you kept it so secret, it must have been sort of really, really, when you got that reveal and the fact, the shock value and everything else, it must have been a real sort of really pleasing, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. It was one of those where it was, it was a really good feeling, but it was also a really good, big relief, because it was one of those where it's like, no more pretending, no more hiding anymore. I can just come out and be this character instead of, there was a time where, like you said, with the Super Show, it didn't turn up. Obvious reasons, I was there referee and I couldn't really get away. There was nothing we could do about that. So I'll admit, the Super Show was going to be the reveal.
Yeah.
That was when we were going to do it.
Do you think you would have done it the same way, or do you think it would have been something totally different, maybe?
Say that again,
Do you think you would have done it exactly the same way you did eventually, or do you reckon it would have been something totally different?
No, it was. I feel it would have been something completely different. It wouldn't have been the same as what it was, and that's why I feel that, when Dan turned to me and he said, "We're going to wait," because at first I was a bit like, I was annoyed. Because I was like, man, this has taken like 18 months. People are asking questions. It's like, we ain't going to last another few months with this. I was kept saying to myself, this ain't going to happen. I was saying to me, missus, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe we're going to wait and wait and wait. And what if people start, what if people find out? It's going to be ruined. But it went perfectly. It was fantastic because the way we did it, I looked at Dan and I said, right, okay, if we're going to do this way, then it's got to be you. And Dan was like, it has got to be me, hasn't it? In terms of he's got to be the one we bring to their knees. Because we were talking originally about it being Vinny Clay.
Yeah.
Because of all the matches we had with him.
Yeah, of course.
But it was like me and Dan said, well, I kind of said to Dan that it's been done. He's had, he was the one we beat up the most in those 18 months. Great feeling.
Yeah.
He'll know I'm being cheeky here because I know he'll be listening. But yeah, it was a great feeling to be beating him up for all those months and hitting him with a bat left, right, and centre. And he was the main guy. He's the one who we feuded with the most. I just wish that the firm had stood longer and we could have had Dead Man's Hand versus the firm. Never say never. You never know if Vinny Clay's going to, bring the firm back, and not necessarily with Jago, but as in creating the firm again.
You never know.
I'd love to see that.
I felt that was the only thing really missing from sort of the whole thing, was that Dead Man's Hand really didn't have, apart from LEP as a company, didn't really have a stable to go against. It would have been interesting to see if the eventual payoff would have been sort of the good guys coming back to save the day, so to speak.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you, George, but you look at it. You look at round the Southwest Wrestling, okay? A lot of tag teams, great tag teams. I miss factions and I miss stables in wrestling. There's not a lot of it anymore. Like managers as well. You look around, not just the Southwest, but everywhere, and you look around. Where are they all? Why is there no need for it? I used to love the likes of Bobby Heenan. I know it was back in the day. You can still have it now. I used to love it. I like it when I see people like when Tamina came in with the Usos. That was great. They should have kept that going, but become the Samoan Dynasty kind of thing. But yeah, it just seemed like factions have just kind of zoned out. We got the Bullet Club, which is nice. That's fun. I'm not necessarily into the whole thing, but I know they're good and all that, and it's a great faction, but I'm not really into that. But yeah, we need more of that kind of thing, not just tag teams. We need more stables.
No, it's cool. It's cool to hear. It's good to hear sort of just what sort of your whole experience was of it. And I think the fact that you went to such secrecy, the fact you hid behind the mask, which was really good, the fact you played both sides, I felt that was really good. The voice messages, I think, were definitely iconic. I don't think I've seen anything like that. And I think it's just, it was a real good thing. 18 months, you kept everybody guessing, and it was a hot ticket. I think everybody had to sort of see it to find out the next chapter. And I think it's sort of, I just think it was really well done. I think sort of you must have to pat yourself on the back. I think also LEP, Danny Walsh, have to pat himself on the back. I think it was probably one of my most favourite fins since I've been covering wrestling in the Southwest. I think clearly it kept me guessing, it kept me entertained, and really, if you're analytical, you're really looking into it. For me, I spent hours and hours, probably a sad time, trying to find out or trying to guess who it was, and just got nowhere near really. And I think when we did get the eventual payoff, if you followed the whole thing, you generally were in shock. You felt like, what the hell have I just seen?
Yeah, that's what we wanted. You know, we didn't want anyone to know. So the amount of secrets we had to keep, and just not talking about it in front of people, and just people asked us, you know, do you know who it is? And, I have no clue what's going on. I'm just a ref. You know, that's all I do. I just referee, or I'm just an announcer. I don't know what you're expecting from me. And then there was the promo that I did announcing the tournament winners, not the tournament winners, sorry, the tournament matches for the LEP Championship, and I was there and I pleaded with the roster to join forces, and you know, so it was all that kind of thing where it looked like, okay, it can't be him. He wants to go against them.
That's the one question I'm going to. One question I'm going to ask. So obviously, the really clever thing was you became the general manager, and you kept promising to rid LEP of Dead Man's Hand. That surely then would have had some ammo. If you'd have done a reveal earlier, you would have played on them words. Surely them words were deliberate, just to try and probably make sort of your reveal even more shocking, so to speak.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I remember your public statement address video.
Sorry, say that again.
I remember your public address video where you said sort of, we have got a plan for Dead Man's Hand, and always like, and it's literally sort of you're playing everyone against each other, if that makes sense. I thought it was really sort of clever, another clever thing. Yeah,
it was. You know, that was another thing where it was like that wasn't just one person thinking about that. That was, you know, Danny came up with that. I wrote. Because there was no way I would have been able to remember all that, so I had it, you know, written down. So I wrote all of that speech out, apart from the last bit where I close the book and I say, you know, look, everyone, you've got to listen to me. We've all got a band together, blah blah blah, and at the end, it was you don't listen to any other word I said apart from the last sentence, where I said, Dead Man's Hand, you will get exactly what you deserve.
That's the top of belts, isn't it?
People had caught on to that last sentence. Yeah. I'm wondering if they would have caught on to me being revealed, because that last sentence was me saying, don't worry, lads, this company's going to be ours. You're going to get what you deserve.
Yeah, nice. Really, really clever. Another clever. Was there any sort of, do you know when you did your sort of voice messages, was there any hidden clues or anything else that we could have picked up on maybe, or any sort of things any obvious clues that we may have missed, if that makes sense, from what you remember?
No, there were no, I'll be blunt about it, there were no clues in my voice addresses. I just wanted to be as creepy as I could be.
That's cool.
It was more trying to not let on what company we were going to.
Yeah.
That was the main thing at the start, because we just, you know, it was just one message. It was just one status to start with a load of pictures put together. And it was like, there was no logo. People, there were, you know, like I say, there were people messaging the page saying, are you a band? Are you this? Are you that? And it was like, not one person at the start said, are you a wrestling stable?
Yeah, no.
It was like not one person. So, yeah, it was one of those. Someone I remember, actually, it's just come to me. I remember someone turning around and saying, are you a cult or something? And it was like, so I just had to send back, don't be stupid. I had to send that, because this was at a point where no one knew what we were, and I kind of wanted people to like the page. So it was one of them where I was like, if anyone said that kind of thing, I'd be like, no, don't worry. Band, that's where I'd be like, wait and see. All this kind of thing, you know, but I wanted to keep it like with the cryptic stuff.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt was the big inspiration for the cryptic stuff, where now, I don't know whether a lot of people know, I heard it in a documentary, I can't remember which one, but Bray Wyatt takes a lot of his wording and his phrases from Stephen King novels.
Okay.
And Stephen King books, all this kind of stuff. That's where he gets his main inspiration. So that I decided to go online, hit Google, just put evil quotes, evil this, dark quotes, and there were websites coming up with dark quotes from history and all this kind of stuff. So a lot of the stuff I said was said by people in history back in time and all that kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. That was how I tried to be like
That's cool.
that in terms of the cult-like status and the creepiness and the statuses. So
cool.
Bray Wyatt had a lot of influence on that.
That's cool to hear. Thank you for that. I was going to say one of the last questions I was going to ask is, so what made you go with the whole mysterious thing, the whole being anonymous for so long? Was that what led you to doing that? Was there any chance of you sort of being revealed from the offset, or was you always going to be taking a while to be revealed?
It wasn't. It wasn't going to take as long as I thought it would. When Blake won the title, there were talks about the reveal.
Wow. Okay, that's quite early on. So that was only
early on. That
4 or
was
5 months into probably
the actual reveal happened.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So there were so many times where we were like, should we do it now? And then it was like, no. It needs to be a huge payoff.
Yeah.
Like, right, okay. So we think about it. We go, what about then? And then be like, no, we still can't do it then because we've got this going on. Like with the with the Super Show. It wasn't the fact that I was refereeing as well. We could have brought another referee in. But you got to think we were crowning a new LEP heavyweight champion. Someone who had never won the heavyweight championship before in LEP or anything like that. So all focus for us had to be on him. It was his night.
You've got to say,
it wouldn't have been if I had been revealed, because it would have been that story everyone had been, all LEP fans would have been fixated on.
Yeah, of course. No, fair comment. I was going to say, I've got to give you credit. The amount of heel heat you got. One of my probably favourite memories is there's a video going around where you come to the ring to attack Vinny Clay. I think it's the LEP Academy title match. And the heat you got coming to the ring, you got attacked by kids. Kids started kicking you. Generally, kids were kicking you.
Yeah, the little gits.
And I just thought, when you look at it and you look at sort of the amount of heat, this is people, generally people were intimidating. You come to the ring and you've got sort of you're putting the fear factor, the fact you're getting that heat when you come to the ring. It must be, although it might have hurt, it must have been such a payoff and such satisfaction that you're creating that amount of animosity, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you're damn right it hurt, George. I got
of course.
kicked in the nuts at one point, I remember, by a kid. I didn't, it was one of those reactions, but I got hit in the nuts, I was like, oh, and I just looked at her with this gold mask and just shook my head at her like that, as if to say, don't, please don't. Oh, and then security came over, so nice one there, security. It was only after I get kicked in the balls that they decided to come over. But yeah, there were points where I was surrounded, and it was like, I love that. I love that because, I mean, eventually, because I've got so... I'm going to say this now. I know we're doing an interview on this stable. Like we said, this is for the fans who enjoy the stable and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming to be a big international star or a big star in the Southwest. I'm not. I'm still learning shed loads, and I always will be. But I like to think that people are starting to see hopefully through this, I'm really, really hoping that people start to see the creativity I've got.
Yeah.
And what I can bring to the table in terms of creativity, because, I've always said it, I don't always want to be a referee. I don't always want to be a manager. I want to eventually be doing the creative stuff, all the background stuff. I love that. And that's how I first started, was with School of Wrestling Knowledge. Unfortunately, it's no longer around anymore, but it was run by Alex Shane. It was internet based at the time. You'd have Skype interviews with, you could choose out of 4 people. I can't remember who the fourth one was, but there was Doug Williams, Raven, Alex Shane.
Winter.
Oh, well, I think
wasn't it?
Winter. I think it was Winter. TNA.
Yeah, Winter, the ex women FWA Women's British Champion. I can't remember what her name was. It was Winter, definitely.
You could get loads of advice, you could get loads of tutoring on there for people, and it was specified that it was for people who didn't necessarily want to become a wrestler or become a referee or be out there in front of the cameras. Obviously my way, it's gone a different way for me, but I spent a year on that, a year and a half, and I learned so much. I went to seminars at the Wrestle Talk Studios, which was great fun. There's been so much I did with that, and it is a shame it closed now, because it was a way, and I saw so many people so many people saying the same as me. They love the business, but they don't necessarily want to be the business. You know, they want to be in the business. You know, they don't want to be seen or heard, which I don't. It's going to come to a point where I won't want to be seen or heard. I'd love to start working, you know, backstage and helping setting things up and all this kind of stuff. You know, just helping with the creativity and storylines and things. That's my goal. That's
cool. It's good that you got the.
I'm hoping
Dead Man's Hand.
I'm hoping Dead Man's Hand and this podcast this little interview is gonna help people see that I have got a huge creative side to offer.
No, definitely. I think clearly sort of the creativity that was shown between LEP yourself, I think was really astounding, really, for Southwest Wrestling. I think it was one step above anything else I've seen in pretty much live in wrestling in Southwest, if that makes sense. One of the last things we do before we wrap this up, was there anything else that sort of we might want to have known that sort of didn't happen? Any other things that could have happened, that might have happened, or anything else? Any other interesting tidbits that we might have missed?
To be honest with you, I believe we have covered everything.
That's fine.
I'll be honest. I think, you know, apart from maybe doing the reveals early, the members, they've all been the same. A couple of times there were stand-ins for people who couldn't make it.
You got to do that to throw people off the scent, I think, to a certain degree. I think that's clever as well. Ultimately, you throw people off the scent, and I think it's clever that. And then I think, as I said earlier in the interview, I think the way that you left you appear to leave the whole building, that then promotes the question: how the hell do you know when to come in? And then sort of you come in and then you leave in the way you do. It just puts everyone on edge, which fits nicely with the whole thing.
Yeah, it's like everyone worked together as well, which was great. When we were outside, but there were times we couldn't hear the music without opening a door.
Yeah, of course.
So it was like, oh man, when are we going to know? But everyone worked together, and we had someone round the side where the music could start. They'd just walk through the double doors like they're just going out to get a drink or something, or they're just going to go and get something. So it was just a casual standing up from the crowd, going out back, boom, door open, and then they'd just go, music's hit. Or we'd hear it as they opened the door to walk out. So it was like, brilliant. You know, that's how we worked it. So
that's cool. Man.
Yeah, and I think it was the surprise factor as well, where there were no announcements, not even made on the page, that we'd be turning up. Sometimes we'd say that Master of Shadows would be turning up, and then he didn't.
No, of course.
You know, so
I grilled you for that, didn't I?
Is he going to turn up this
I used
time?
to absolutely grill you for that. On our little reviews, I'd say, where is so-and-so? Maybe he's gone, and then I just think when he did turn up, ultimately, it then felt special. Which
yeah, we didn't want it to be a case of he's there every single show, because then people go, oh, there we go. Like they started to with the Dead Man's Hand members, where there was, oh, here they come, you know. I didn't want that with him.
Of course.
I wanted people to go when he turned up, who is it? Who is it? And just looking at me and just trying to figure it out, and you know, and that's what it felt like the night we were revealed as well. I was revealed. Walked in and you could see people looking around and going, what the hell? People still going, he's here, you know. I heard little kids going, it's him, you know, just one little kid, you know. But it was just one of them where this little guy, his name's Jack, he's at every LEP show. You'll catch him. He's only about 5 or 6, bless him, and he was so into it to the point where I had to make him my little co-leader. You know, so there is a co-leader, by the way, guys, of Dead Man's Hand, 6 years old. His name is Jack.
Oh,
okay, you want to look out for him. But he was so into it, and just for that, just one kid, that was it. I was like, I love doing this, just to see what how he was reacting to it, and the fact that, you know, because I'd always see him backstage. You know, I'd always have a joke with him because I was that fun time announcer, and I'd always be like, hey Jack, all this kind of stuff. You know, and he still didn't know who it was, and he saw. I remember one, it was just a little story for it. I remember one time, I think it was on the night I was revealed, and Jack ran up to me and he just goes, he's here. And I went, what? And he was like, he's here. And I was like, what do you mean he's here? And he was like, I've seen his mask. And I was like, have you seen the bat? And he was like, yeah, the bat. I've seen his jacket. I've seen his mask. And I was like, who do you think it is then? And he looked, he goes, well, it can't be you, because you're here. And he goes, I don't know who it could be. He goes, I'm going to go and have a look. And he went around and had a look for people to think who it could be, but he didn't have a clue. And just that...
It's amazing to see that payoff.
Whether you're big time, whether you're small time, whether you're a student, that feels so good.
Of course, definitely. I think the fact that you you spent so many months in secrecy and going to them lengths to keep it secret, and all the hours you put in and everything else. The fact that when you do get revealed and you're sort of, oh, it's the end of the story. I remember many months I was messaging you saying, please tell me, I need to know. And you kept saying to me, it'll be worth it in the end. And then certainly it was worth it in the end. I think definitely got, as I said.
I think.
I probably owe you a few drinks.
Rightly, I owe you a beer.
Probably not. I probably owe you a few drinks, probably, for harassing you.
Yeah, you probably owe me a few now,
and Jason
mate.
King, to be fair, probably sort of. But no, thank you so much for coming on. Before we end this tonight, I really appreciate you coming in, telling us all about it. Tell us where we can see you next. Tell us about your next sort of show.
Oh, next show. Well, you won't be seeing Dead Man's Hand, obviously, but you will see me with the King's Court.
Hey, get on.
Another great little tag team down in Cornwall. CPW, Bodmin Jail. So, great venue, great company, great card. You know, you've got Jason King versus
Saxon
I've got
Huxley.
to get the name right.
Saxon
Huxley.
Yeah.
Did I get that right? Yeah, Saxon Huxley.
That's correct.
Yeah. You've also got Adam Flint's Open Challenge, which will be really good. I can't wait to see who comes up with that. And you've also got PJ Jones defending his CPW championship against Joseph Connors. That's going to be one hell of a match.
Oh, definitely. Joseph Connors, former WWE United Kingdom tournament member, former What Culture World Champion as well. So, no, definitely it's going to be an interesting show. Looking forward to seeing the show, looking forward to seeing what you do. But no, I really
Bodmin Jail, guys. Bodmin Jail, April 28th.
How can people get tickets as well before we end this?
You can check out the Cornish Pro Wrestling Facebook page. I think you can order them through Bodmin Jail. I'm not entirely sure. So if you head over to Cornish Pro Wrestling Facebook page, it'll have all the details on there and how you can get tickets. Or even if you don't want to have a look through the page, message Cornish Pro Wrestling and someone will get back to you as soon as they can and tell you how you can book tickets.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on. I really appreciate your time again. I'm sure we'll speak again. This has been the SCW Wrestling Podcast, and this has been an insider of Dead Man's Hand with John the Revelator. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy your weekend. Thank you.